What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jennison, along with my lovely wife,
Kendra Jennison.
We are in a new studio today. Well, I guess it's not a new studio. It's same room, new look, new design, fresh setup. All good in the hood, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So, I want to talk today about investing, not from a financial, I'm not talking, like when you think investing, you think about investing your money. But I want to talk about it more from a why it is important to invest into A, yourself, B, your significant other, and C, your kids.
Love
right?
it.
All topics that we talk about on here, right? And the business and all those things. We invest, we're investors now, right? Pretty cool. We talked about that. We invest in multiple different companies and different funds and all these cool things. We've transcended from just being,
we don't know what to do. We're new.
but we decided to be investors. Anyways, but before we get into that, I want to talk about gratitude.
Fake tits.
Fake tits. Why don't you share the story? I don't even hear that. Do you even know what the story is?
Anyways, Mark was going through some old rehab paperwork back from when he was in rehab X amount of years ago. And he had to fill out, I don't know, they had to do clearly a gratitude stack every day.
It was like every day, like they were
It was very like AA rehab mentality where it was like.
Oh, it was awful.
It was awful, not gonna lie. And I'm going through reading, whatever, his little gratitudes for the day. And I get to one that says, my son, something else, fake tits.
Yeah, fake tits, right? I don't even like fake tits. I don't know what the fuck I was even talking about on that.
That's funny though. And honestly, that wasn't even the most cringy one. Not even lie.
Yeah, I mean, some of the cringy things were like think about that. We'll just stay on that topic for a second. I could actually show that paperwork, but some of the things that I was saying.
Very not you, not gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, I was in a dark place.
Well, that just goes to show you like how much they, and by they, I mean like the rehab centers, that AA mentality, how much they want you to conform to such a
victim
mentality. Thank you for, a victim mentality. And just reading that, I was like, oh my God, this is so not you.
I wanted to fucking punch myself in the face.
I actually think you wrote that on the paper. I effing hate this. I want to punch myself. How do I get out of here?
Yeah, I had wrote, get me out of here.
Yeah.
ASAP. You ever see that? I know you've seen it, but Happy Gilmore, there's that lady that she's like, get me out of here. Like that's what I felt like. But yeah, just, looking at that, and I'll take it to topic. I have this wonderful, uncanny ability to be able to take things from time altogether, right? So we're gonna talk about investing. At that time, I invested $27,000 to go there and get told that I'm sick, right? But the reality was I was just fucking being an idiot, making poor choices, and obviously grateful for fake tits at that time of my life. But the investments I was making inside of it were daily deposits into something that didn't really resonate with who I was, and it wasn't conducive with the lifestyle that we live now.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing is if you do things long enough over and over, so just consider the possibility that I would have done the reps of that style approach of recovery, right? I'll use the word air quotes, recovery. What do you think my life would be like? Who would I be right now? Had I went down that path, right?
I don't want to say yikes, but that was like my first initial.
Let me throw a disclaimer here because there might be somebody listening to
That's
AA
what I mean.
But it is what it is. They can choose to listen to me or choose not to listen to me. To us, I should say. But if you're doing something that works for you, please go forward.
Yes.
Like I want you to win. But for me, man, that was not a winner. Those words that came out of me were fucking pussy
and
shit.
I think because I know you obviously so well, and reading what you had wrote and just how it is so the opposite of everything that you preach. I was reading it and I was like, oh, to me personally, because like I said, because I know you, I was cringing. I was like, oh my God, who is this pussy of a man? This is not my husband. What the heck?
It's funny because it shows like the investment back on topic of the investment that I made into myself when I decided to do this. But at that time, it's interesting that was brought up because like you saved that. You could have clearly thrown that away, right? Like, we put the studio here and I looked at it with Dave. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Dave and I looking at it, I'm like, holy shit, dude, this is my notes from this. Like, let's see what I was about that day. And then I looked at it, man, and I was like, I was not happy to be there. I invested tens of thousands of dollars to be there, to change my life. And the things that were going into me in my mind, I remember just like sitting in this, even the church, like they had a church inside of this thing, and they brought some guy in who wrote a book about AA, and he was a nice guy, but like him telling me that I was just fucking sick. Mm-hmm. And that I was, and somewhere inside of that, like I was buying that shit. That's the thing. If somebody tells you a lie long enough, right, you're going to believe
Start to believe it, yeah.
And I was in this high-powered room of lies for however many 28 days in a place of depression and pain and just shit.
That's why I always get so surprised. And this is just kind of like a little bit, just clearly none of that message resonated with you at all.
I didn't have anywhere else to go.
But there was no other options. So I always get so surprised, and I try not to like tap into it on like the social media world, but I just get so surprised at how close-minded so many people can be when they are like, oh my gosh, there's another option out there. And so many people are like, oh, F this, F that guy. He's a scam artist. Like, he shouldn't be selling this stuff. When I'm like,
snake oil salesman.
Snake oil salesman, right? And I just don't understand, because I'm like, well, clearly there's a lot more people on there that are like, no, this is like the real deal. Oh my gosh, this resonates with me so much more. So I'm always just like so surprised at how many people can't just be like you, in a sense, where you're like, hey, if AA works for you, great. If I Am a Comeback works for you, that's freaking great. Right. They're two completely different messages. You know what I mean? So it's, yeah, not everything is going to resonate.
But there's a reason.
Potentially.
There's a reason for that, right? Like these people that go into that, they wholeheartedly believe that their life was such a disaster. There was nothing they can do about it. And I believe that I was watching this, I don't know, DC Drano or whatever, right, on Instagram. I try not to get into those things or hot. I tried to watch it, but something came up, and it was a African-American, a black woman, right, of all things that you could very easily say she was oppressed, was screaming at these people that I'm not oppressed, right? I'm a woman, I'm black, I'm in the United States of America. Like, you are pushing this oppression on us, like going off. She said, why do you want my people to think that they're so fucking hurt? And it hit me when I was listening to that thing, that like my message always, our message together, we are one and together, like, is a choice. Yep. And I heard that, and I'm like, dang, I really kind of want to know this lady, because she was like this vocal piece of what the world says should be oppressed, right? Like, looking at her, like, and she didn't want to claim. She's like, I am powerful, right? She's like, I am proud to be an American. I'm proud. And I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. But my thought on AA or investing in beliefs and thoughts and all these things is, it is so much easier to give up and to find some, like, when you're
powerless in a sense, right?
Like when you're hurt, of course you want to be attracted to hurt. Right. It takes a strong individual, man or woman or child, to say, through all this hurt, I'm actually going to find my own path. Yeah. I'm going to find my own way, and I'm going to be something more from this. Like, I don't know. So we kind of went off on gratitude. That all started from talking about fake tits. And I'm going to frame that, put that over your bed.
Oh, that's not ever going to happen.
Why not? Yeah, I can't even put things on the fridge in the house. So, anyways, I want to talk about investing into one another, or into each other. We just came off of, we were in Utah. Yep. Right?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
And you enjoyed yourself?
I enjoyed myself.
Tell these people what we did.
We are part of a very exclusive, amazing, powerful investing group, $100 million mastermind. Yep. Dan Fleshman group. Anyways, we went to go learn. We went to go place ourselves in a very uncomfortable position, and it's something for both of us that you and I, we both are like really, really good at sticking to just sticking to like, no, that's not for us, or especially in more of like social settings. I think we're fine with getting uncomfortable with like pushing ourselves in the gym. We're fine with getting uncomfortable with starting like new.
But even inside of those things, we dominate them already. So how fucking uncomfortable are you anyways?
Right, exactly. But putting ourselves into a group where you are the newbie, you are and we were like the new people. Everybody else already kind of had like their friends and their cliques and already, hey buddy, whatever. And we're just like standing there, which is fine. But we ended up getting massive investment out of that by going into that.
A couple of them, looks like.
And it was amazing, just being around individuals who, one, are doing better than you.
Let's stop right there for a minute. That's hard for a driven man like I shouldn't say a dude with a little bit of an ego. Like I don't necessarily think ego is a bad thing. I think ego used successfully can actually be a propeller into becoming the man you want to be.
I agree.
It's an interesting thing. Every morning, or not every morning, I've been back for 2 days, but I've had to take the garbage out now twice. You guys were just talking about garbage. I've had to take the garbage out twice. And every time I walk back into the driveway, even though we've got a great spread, right? I've got a nice establishment. I'm looking at it. I'm like, dang, I know that house we were at. Like there's so much more that is possible if I would just invest more time, more energy, more thought, more compassion. But being the dude who like pretty much can win at everything, who has a little bit of ego, and walking into a room where you know damn well you are not the top dog.
Yeah.
Especially for me, right? Like I told the story to the people like we go to dinner. Or I'm sorry, not even dinner. I went on my own for that first lunch, right? Down in the session. We did dinner together, and then the next day I had to go by myself. And I sit down. I didn't sit down. I'm going to get dinner. Or lunch. I'm the last guy there, and all the people know each other, so they're sitting on the table. And I'm like the new kid on the block, and my immediate like gut instinct is to just sit. I'm so like, fuck you.
I'm gonna sit by myself.
I'm gonna show you. You actually want to fight? We'll fight outside. Those are the vibes I'm giving off.
Literally nobody wants to fight.
After I spend all this, right? Literally nobody wants to fight me. They just want to get to know me. But like, I walk into this thing and my immediate thought is, well, I'm going to sit at this table by myself and they can come to me. But I'm like, that's not what I'm here to do. I invested
a good amount of money,
to be part of this thing, good money to fly there, to get
out of that comfort,
to get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I had to go up and sit down next to a guy. Hey, do you mind if I sit here? And I told the story to those guys. I'm like, dude, it's different for me because, rehab or JAL or even like school lunch. Like I was never that guy that just wanted to be around people.
And now look at you.
Yeah, I still don't know that I want to be around people.
I think you, the right people, you definitely enjoy being around. For a short amount of time, you do. Like the weekend for you was perfect. And then you're like, okay, now I got to go back, got work to do. I'm good with being at my 34 acres with my wife and my kids. And
so I always talk about being a creator and a taker, and looking at like, in order to create, you need to take. In order to take, you need to create. And what I mean by that is like, for me to create something large for us to scale our investment of our personal money, to scale our investments into our relationship, to scale the house that we want to live in, and everything to me is scale and empower. But for me to do these things, I needed to take from them. Right. Sure. So even though this weekend I tried to be a man that was like investing his knowledge, which actually I mean,
you do have quite a bit.
I was giving knowledge to those guys, but I didn't realize what I was doing it. I came with a reason to come back to build our life better.
Yes.
Right. Our life stronger. Talk about the takeaway from this. Like, how do you feel sitting in a room where we weren't the richest, we weren't the poorest, we weren't the most smart, but we weren't the most dumb. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. We weren't like, I would say that we're somewhere in the middle of this group of highly successful people.
Yeah.
And we invested like fear, right? We look at fear and say, we're going to take these fears, we're going to invest we're going to invest it. We're going to deposit it into this group, and we don't know if we're going to be accepted. What did it do for your mental? We haven't even talked about this.
Sure.
What did it do for looking at us as a couple and being like, damn, this is I know your friends will probably listen to this, or maybe they will, maybe they won't, but like, I love them all, but like, you're on a whole new level. 30 years old. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. 30 years old. Yep. Multi-millionaire. Yep. Right? Married to the coolest guy in the world. Right?
I mean, I don't disagree.
But you're sitting around these people, and what did that do for your mental state? Like, for your goals, for the belief inside of the relationship, for the belief inside of the comeback, for the belief inside of the Midwest Millionaires Mastermind that we're going to create. Ryan and Kevin don't even know about that yet, but they're going to be part of it.
Going to be in it. That's a great, interesting question.
Where did it leave you? That's the question.
Yeah, I am always so open and so proud when you, especially because you truly do work your butt off for the opportunities that we get presented as a couple. But I'm just always so pumped and so proud to like be able to walk into any of these situations, masterminds, groups, and to learn. I guess I never being probably the youngest, not gonna lie, probably.
Yeah, pretty much.
The youngest in there. And I wouldn't say, as of right now, I should say that I would have a whole lot to offer somebody besides like fitness. If somebody wanted to have a conversation about fitness all day, but truthfully, go into these rooms, it's mostly about money and business and fixing and But I do. I walk in there and I'm proud to be okay with knowing that I don't know the most. I may not have the most to offer in terms of helping you fix your business or investing certain things. But I'm okay with that. I'm actually very, very okay with that. And I'm so proud to be open to learning that and to be okay with that. I think so many younger women, especially in my situation.
I don't think it has to be younger women. I think it has to be
women in general, right?
Because, and I'm glad you're going down that route. That's where I wanted to go. Because the woman, in our vows, I say that we're equal in all things.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you know everything I know and I know everything you know, right? It's not fit, but it means in all things we're going to show the fuck up together.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is what is the most important piece of it. But I think so many women for so many years, they've just allowed their husbands to just be the breadwinner, to be the I guess the namesake, be the carrier of the family, which in my opinion they should be.
Right.
Right. But that doesn't mean that the woman doesn't have a spot.
Right. And I think I love that because I look at our family in that way and I hold you in that light. I truly believe that in our household, call it maybe a little bit more old fashioned of a household if you want, but you are the breadwinner, you are the leader of the family. But that doesn't mean that I just, like you said, sit back and skate by. It's like, no, hey, I literally texted you when you were, masterminding for the day and it was you were just going and you were gonna have literally a full day and I said I hope you have an awesome day. I can't wait for you to get back and teach me like what you learned. I'm not just going to these things for you to be the only person that gets invested in. I truly am like, okay, although I might not be in the room as the wife, but when you come back I'm going to ask you questions. I want to ask you, how does that work?
I came back and you had my speech written out because we are manifesting speaking on some larger stages.
Right. Yeah.
So and you're invested into that. Like
it's something, I guess, and that's another good question. Although my strong suit being in these rooms may not be like being able to answer business questions or investing questions, but I'm an extremely good writer. I'm extremely good I know my suits, my strong suits, and I'm going to
my story.
In you. I know your story better probably than anybody else.
So here's I want to tie this in, why I believe investing is important. And it's not, there's one thing that we invest in as a couple every day, and that is our future.
Yeah. And
a lot of our conversations, a lot of topics we have, a lot of the men and women that listen to this thing, that's the piece that they want. As a matter of fact, Ryan, you might want to answer this on the app, right? There's a guy that's literally saying, I don't know what my future looks like, right? Like this is a guy in the program. And for me, future's never been an issue.
Yeah.
Because a future is a dream.
You're constantly dreaming. Yeah.
Constantly dreaming.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's a dream. I think that if I get an idea, if I get something that's telling me I got to go after it, I'm just fucking going to go after it.
Yeah.
Right. That's just the way that it works. But investing, my big thing, my big takeaway on this particular couples podcast we do is one, to have a little bit of fun, right? Make some people laugh. I know they like the little stupid jokes that I make, but like really get the people on the same page.
Yeah.
And why that's important is because you're investing into the future. And what you did, if you read the post that I put out, I mean, I know you did, but most people out there, like, I told you that we're going to be living that life that we're living right now almost 5 years ago.
Almost 5 years ago. Yeah, you absolutely did.
I told you that I'm going to be speaking on stage. I told you that you're going to have successful, rich, new friends. Yep. I told you that we're going to buy fucking vacation homes and yachts and planes. We don't have all that yet. And I don't care if people think that it's materialistic or not. It's available in the world.
That's what success looks like to you. So that's what you want. Right? You can go and have that. Yeah.
It's available. And to me, everything's available. So is fucking ice cream. I'm going to eat a shit ton of ice cream. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just these things that we want. So why I wanted to talk about investing into one another is because that to me is about getting on the same page. If a woman or a husband cannot see the same clear, definitive outcome of the future they're creating, they're going two different ways. And if you're going two different ways, you're never going to get where you want to be.
100%.
So what I like you to do is talk just real quick. Mm-hmm. What is it from your point of view? Like you have a guy like me who's just saying, here's where we're going.
Yeah.
Right. Not all ideas always get us there. Sometimes it gets a little squirrely, gets a little sideways, right? So not all ideas are great.
That's true.
But you are very confident in the choices that I make.
Yeah, I am extremely confident.
How do you keep that mindset of belief in a husband? I know I've never let you down, but how did you build up? Because there had to be some fear
Sure.
of all, I mean, literally I wrote down, I'm grateful for fake tits, and right. Like, and the stories were, I didn't know that. And I don't think I wrote that, but even though it's on, I really don't think that that's what it meant. And I don't fucking, who knows, but there had to be some serious fear when your friends are saying, man, I don't know if you should date this guy, or Deb Ham, right?
Sure.
We just did a drop of Deb Ham on this thing.
Yeah.
Deb Ham said, you want to stay away from that Mark Jennison, right? There was something inside
goodness,
you
yeah.
that, like, and I didn't have the money, I didn't have the success, I didn't have the accolades, I didn't have the team, I didn't have the friendships. I literally had a big set of headphones and I was working every day on a porch.
Right.
And I said, here's where we're going to go. And you threw caution to the wind, moved your 2 daughters in, trusted me, and said, I'm all in on this motherfucker.
Right.
Now, I know that it was fresh, but that brings its own set of fear.
Yeah, it absolutely does. So what's actually interesting about that entire, I love this question. When I had first met you, for those of you listening and that have no idea, everybody, and I mean quite literally everybody that found out or knew me personally, that found out I was going to be dating Mark Jennison.
Even the coffee lady.
Even the coffee shop lady that I'm so sorry, I forget your name, but she's like the sweetest person ever. And she finds out.
Her daughter just actually shared some of our stuff too.
Oh, that's amazing.
They're like fans of us now.
But yeah, even down to the coffee lady, when they found out that I was dating Mark Jennison, almost every single person was like, hey, you need to be careful. This guy has a history, he has a past, and it's not a good one.
You can't trust
this mother. Yeah. And every single, and I would just tell everybody, I would say, hey, listen, thank you for your input. So far, I don't see that in this man that I am currently dating. I said, everything that you guys say is the exact opposite of who he is and what he does. Luckily for me, that never changed, so, and as years went on and years go on, now everybody is just like, oh yeah, Kendra and Mark, oh, I love Mark Jennison. But it's so funny how that has changed, because he really and truly is a phenomenal human being. And I know that with all of my heart because I live with you.
Sure.
So aside from that, you were truly a man who said you were going to do what you said you were going to do. So that was the first and most easiest piece for me to bite into, right? If you would have said like, oh, hey, yeah, why don't you just move in, and you were a POS dad, or if things were just falling apart, I would have been like, oh, okay, maybe like, let's hold back. But it was never, ever, ever that case. And you were continuously always open, even if I didn't understand. And I want this to be a really big piece for the wives to understand that I didn't have this like massive dreamer's mentality brain. I didn't know about self-development. I just didn't know. I didn't even know this world existed. And I just couldn't believe I didn't know it existed, but I didn't. And so Mark bringing me into this and saying, hey, this is where we're going to go. And I saw the ideas and the ideologies that you were adapting and that you were learning, and I liked it. Now, although I didn't adapt it right away, and it took me, I don't know, probably a few years before I was like, okay, maybe I should.
I would say you honestly really started adapting it after Cabo.
I agree.
2021, we went to Cabo at Ryan Stevens' Mastermind, and I saw a shift, because I don't know if I ever told you this, but like when we were going around the room, what'd you learn? And Ryan said, all right, Kendra, that was after you smoked his ass in the running and you guys became friends. But like, all right, Kendra, what'd you learn? And your posture, you sat up, and there was something, I don't remember the exact words, but you're like, I can do this, came out. I can actually be part of this guy's journey, or my journey, or whatever it was. And
so truly, you opening me up to that world, being a man.
We've been to a ton of other
I've been to a tons. Right? I have, right? Yeah.
Grant Cardone, Ryan Stewman,
and I still had maybe some part of me that was like, okay, I'm still trying to figure out where I fit into this. Like, where can Kendra become her own along the side of her husband, because for so long, I just, like I said, for so long, I didn't adapt. I didn't know how to adapt the mentality. I didn't know where to start. I wasn't just like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Okay, like, let's go. Now we're both like 2 powerhouse couples. It wasn't the case for me at all. So I don't want these wives to be like, oh, well, I just can't adapt how my husband, I'm never going to be like my husband. So, yeah, you're probably never going to be, but that's okay.
I just want to pause right there to stay on topic. You were investing small incremental pieces of time.
Yes, I was.
Pieces of trust.
Massive trust. And you never, ever have let me down with that, you know, and yeah, like you had said, we have goals and we have dreams and maybe they get a little squirrely and we have to take a roundabout way and we got to backtrack and we got to redo some things. However, never have you let yourself down or let me down with guiding us to that future where we're going, you know. And although I may have been taking baby steps, you have included me in on every single piece, whether it was business, whether it's, you know, the gym or success stories, or like I said, self-development stuff. Even though I know that you knew there's so much that I don't understand quite yet, you still take the time, you invest into me still by, hey, do you understand that? Or, hey, did you get that? Because this is why this is important. Or, you know, or, hey, can you do this for me in the business? Just keeping me involved and keeping me invested, because that's really when I am able to come into my own. And I think you saw that in me before I kind of saw it in me. And now I'm just like, hey, yeah, let's go. This is what we got to do. Okay. And if I have a question,
I invested something into you that I've never invested into any other person.
Patience. I knew it. Yeah. That's true. And
it wasn't, I mean, obviously I'm, you know, physically attracted to you and mentally attracted to you, but like there was something about knowing that at your own pace, we could build something massive together, because it's just like, from my point of view, it was like, okay, this woman is really kind. I know you like to say I'm so cool, right? You like, you like to always say you're so cool, but like, she is so kind. She's so positive. Like your attitude. I mean, Ryan, you can probably attest to this. She's always the same. Like always the same. There's no highs, lows. I'm not having to worry about this fucking arguing, fighting. I mean, right. Sometimes, you know, you're tired because of your period or whatever, but like, right, you're sleeping all the time. But other than that, you are pretty much always happy, always positive. Therefore, when it was for me to invest my one thing, I mean, you said it last night, or was this morning or last night? You're like, yeah, you know, the smallest thing could piss you off. It's such an inconvenience. You want to you freak out, right? Because you have no patience. But I never have done that with you.
You've never done that with me. You've never even so much as raised your voice at me. Literally in 5 years.
Well, one time you said I yelled at you because I tried to sleep with my pants on.
Oh yeah, this is serious, you guys. My husband tried to get into the bed at the end of the night with his jeans on, and I looked at him and I said, what are you doing? And he was literally almost already falling asleep, and he's like, well, I can't even sleep with my jeans on.
So do you think I'm yelling at you because I said that?
And I literally looked at him in that moment. I was like, wow, did you just yell at me?
Well, I like to sometimes sleep with my jeans because it reminds me of where I came from, sleeping on couch to couch or outside or whatever.
You're way past that.
But just, I don't want to keep this going too long because I think we went a little long today. The investing into one another is important. Investing into it. And the biggest investment we make, I mean, you can watch, like if I grab your ass or something, you don't watch it, but I'll grab your ass or while you're cooking or whatever. And Jay's like, ew, right? But you know damn well, she's like, she knows how much we love each other. Like she sees the investment of the time, right? Or if I kiss you or whatever.
Going on walks together at the end of the night.
Yep.
Little things. Jade, our daughter, she's 9, and she loves to remind me every single, because I'm the no mom. Like anything my kids are, I'm just like, no, you can wait, or you can do that yourself. And Jade loves to remind me every day, well, Mark never says no to you, Mom. How would you like it if Marky Boo said no to you? And I was just like, what are you talking? No, that doesn't.
It doesn't work that way. But the reason why what I wanted the man and the woman to understand is that, you know, investing into one another, investing into these daily deposits. I think your phone's ringing. It's probably one of our kids. It's a daily deposit of just creating the future that you want, painting that fucking picture for your wife, painting that picture for yourself, right? And for the woman, like, you have your own dreams, I'm sure, out there too. Don't be afraid to share them with your husbands. My hope for this call that we do, or this podcast, is that people will listen to they'll listen to it together.
Yes.
Right? They'll hear what we have to say together, because if there's one thing that we really kick ass at and we're successful is being each other's friend.
Absolutely.
You know, like I always say I want friends, but at the end of the day, I don't really know that I want that many friends when I have my best friend every day. I know, and I'm good with it. I
agree. Yeah.
Right. So, that's all I want to get. I'm probably stressed out because those kids are calling, and they're probably fucking lit the house on fire or something. So we better get to them. So do you have anything you want to add before we hop off here?
I just want to say that I truly believe that the greatest investments that you can make are in yourself, into your partner, and really use that communication of where you're going and do it together. Right?
Yeah, I was going to say a joke here, but I think I'll save it. I'll talk about, I'll just say it anyways. I think the greatest investment you could have is into a set of fake tits. Just kidding. I don't want you to have those. I like yours. All right, guys. That's it for today's episode of the Comeback Couples podcast. We will see you next week. Thank you. Sayonara. Win the day, because that's all that matters.